So I want to refute some more things that Chad said. Number one, you said that a lot of prostitutes are, illegally sexually abused. I wonder why. Oh yeah, it's because they're illegal. It's illegal, so people go to shady places with shady people and do shady business, and then shady results outcome. What a surprise, right? I'm sure if it was legal, there would be, I'm sure everyone would still just hide in the dark alley where all the creepy men run, and like, dude, you wanna bang? Just pay me 20 bucks, I need my hit of heroin, I'm sure people would totally do that if it's illegal, right? And if I don't know about the other prostitutes out there, but like low wages and cheap, shady, metropolitan places with like bad hotels, no food, no water, I ain't that cheap. And if you got that low standards, you gotta revise the product, ladies. So here's the thing. Now you're saying that porn is just so different from everything else, right? Not so true. I'm sure I can walk into the porn industry with my nice fat wallet again and go, hey buddy, can you get me in? 300 bucks, get me in there, yeah? Go walk right in, act like I'm, the big daddy, walk in, go into a scene, hey, talk to the director, hey, buddy, you can get me in, right? 600 bucks, there you go. Go walk right into that scene and have sex. I paid for it. How is it really that different from prostitution? They were tested? Wow, maybe if it was legal, there'd be regulations like testing. We're missing a big point here, which is that it's a great boost to the economy. I mean, I hate to admit it, but sex sells. Look at every ad you've ever seen on a billboard. Do you want a new car? Oh, I love my sun-kissed. And hello, pornography, one of the biggest industries in America. Sex sells. It's great for the economy. Thank you.
Anthony.
Okay, I don't usually like to flaunt my knowledge of pornography, but Young, you're entirely wrong with how the industry works. It is a legitimate industry that generates millions of dollars of revenue through the filmmaking. You can't just walk onto a set and be like, hey, I'm gonna bribe the director, or hey, I'm gonna bribe the producer and just put me on set. No, they have bouncers and security, and they have probably more extensive security because it's pornography, and they don't want people touching the women or the actors, period. So you can't just walk in and do that. So obviously pornography and prostitution are entirely different. You can't just pay the director, hey, put me in the scene. I'm some random guy who is not tested and does not work well with this actress. So obviously I'm just gonna go on just because I have a lot of money. That's not how it works. Same with any filmmaking set. They can't just have extras walk in and be like, oh, I want to be in this weird production. I don't know what it is. They have paid extras because they have to go through a process. So again, don't blur the lines between prostitution and pornography. They are fundamentally different. However, I did agree with everything else. So.
Chad, fighting the good fight, Alright. First off, I'd like to mention something kind of peculiar to me. That every single person so far who stood up for prostitution has all been a man. I think that says something about this topic and about men in general. And I am here to defend our lady friends from going into such an industry and selling away their flesh for little dollar bills to spend on their, whatever they want. But that's besides the point. What I wanted to say is that Young said that, oh, if it's legalized and these prostitutes, they'll be treated nice and with respect, and we'll have nice hotels for them and some nice pillows to have sex on, But that's not true, because what isn't changing, no matter how nice of a image you painted for our audience, what isn't changing is our clientele. These people who are coming to these prostitutes aren't changing. These are often the people who feel like they can't actually have a meaningful relationship. So they're going to these prostitutes because all they do have is not charm, is not intelligence. All they do have is some measly dollar bills. And probably a lot of them at that to afford a good prostitute. Nonetheless though, the clientele isn't changing. So this abuse isn't going to stop, it's just going to take part in really nice locations. Also, people say, well, we can test the people coming in and asking for services. Now I'll tell you one thing. If every time you went to a place to get a service and you had to take a certain test or have an ID, and opposed to a place where you can just walk right in and get what you want, would you go to the place with the ID and the test, or would you go to the place where you can just walk in? A sad reality in America is that we love convenience. We love the easy path. And if I have to get some license to, have sex with a prostitute, or if I have to go to a nice place to have me tested, I'm probably not going to want to go there, because people who want sex are usually pretty damn horny, and they do not like waiting. I tell you that now. So they're going to go to shady locations, places that don't require tests. And then the underground, the trafficking is just going to continue. Now you're going to have a legal sector and an illegal sector.
Cassie?
Okay. Well, Chad, I agree with you on one part of that. That the prostitutes are being harassed sexually and physically and in every way, shape, and form. But if we get it legalized, then there'll be people who are going to protect them. We could have people who will, like you said, see if these people have any diseases or anything, and then they can also have people who make sure that that person isn't going to do any harm to that prostitute. And also, if we already have an institution for this, so all the money the prostitutes will make will go back to the government, and it'll help us.
Chad, I've noticed your reason that you want prostitution to stay illegal is because it won't solve the sex trafficking problem. And that's the only reason I've seen. But we're not trying to just stop the sex trafficking. We're trying to give us our rights, our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That's all.
Speaker? John?
First off to Chad, last time you went up you said that there are no women who have spoken and that you were going to speak on their behalf. I don't think they need you to speak on their behalf. I think they're very smart. I think they can articulate themselves. Secondly, you said the clientele of men who go to prostitutes is very low. I remember the story a while back at the Republican National Convention where the owner of a strip club he thanked the RNC for all the business they brought to his strip club. At the same time, there were strip clubs in the area where the RNC took place. There was a crackdown of prostitution that was taking place in the strip club. So your clientele is guys who are going to the Republican National Convention and representing our nation. Secondly, I'd like to say on the point of you're saying they're going to be in poor hotels, they're going to be in this, they're going to be in this poor condition, they're going to be in that. If it was legalized, we could set up set up businesses, set up a physical building that says prostitutes inside, come here. And like I said, there would have to be certain standards that the business owner would have to live up to. The employer would have to make sure that they're not in some rat-infested room with the sheets that have never been cleaned in years and there's like water dripping from the ceiling. No, there would be certain standards. And back to the whole thing on pornography, it's pretty ridiculous that I can't pay Anthony to fuck my brains out, but I can pay him to fuck my brains out while I tape it and then sell it to Sean. Is there really a difference? I don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you for your vivid examples, John. Montana in the back.
Hi. People keep saying that if we do legalize prostitution, that everyone will then be able to set up shops and we'll have nice hotels and people will be really happy about it. I don't think that's the case because honestly, you go to a prostitute so that you don't have to tell people, oh yeah, I had sex. I mean, you want to maybe, that's you, sure, whatever, not judging. But you don't go to a prostitute to be able to say, I went to a prostitute. You go because you're pretty much just not good with people. Okay, maybe you can't get the ladies, I understand, guys, it's okay, But you're not going to go to a place that is dedicated to prostitution because, people will see you. People will see you, it may ruin your reputation. I just don't see it happening. I mean, you're going to have a stamp card, every Tuesday it's half off, great. So that's just what I think.
Legalizing prostitution will decrease the rate of sexually transmitted diseases because the prostitutes wouldn't get picked up in dirty alleys. They would actually be licensed in brothels. So in brothels where they would be tested, the men would have to use protection and they would be clean. So.
Yeah, you.
Okay, so as a man, you know, I respect women's rights and I respect women, and I would never hire a prostitute even if it was legal. But with that said, maybe there are some women that find prostitution less degrading than some other jobs. I mean, there are some pretty bad jobs out there already. I mean, if we legalize prostitution and it's so degrading that no woman will enter into that workforce, then it'll die out of business and it will prove that it should be illegal. But with that being said, I think we should legalize it and test it out.
So we keep talking about these big, broad ideas like freedom and liberty and women's rights, but we're missing the whole deal, which is the idea that all of these things end when someone's safety becomes in danger. And here's the issue. Now, we're all talking, first off, you have to realize that STD testing takes time. And you're not gonna after every time you have a client, oh wait, I need to take a week off and wait for my chlamydia testing to come in, guys. So I'm closed down for a week, come back next week, I'll take one of you, and then I gotta be out for another week. How's that gonna work? These aren't easy and they take a lot of time and you can't regulate that easy. I mean, the FDA can barely stop a salmonella outbreak in our eggs. How are they gonna stop a chlamydia outbreak, a gonorrhea outbreak, HIV? It's not gonna happen. And the other problem is that it becomes easier to hide illegal sex trafficking and prostitutes, you know, when there are all these legal prostitutes. You know, how am I gonna tell? That one's a legal prostitute and that one's not. Take her off the street curb, you know? It becomes easier to hide it because if prostitutes are legal and they're right out there, then what's to stop an illegal, you know, forced prostitute to be standing there? And the last problem is that, even beyond the weeks of STD testing, is that this is not a very steady job. I mean, you're out of it for 1 out of 4 weeks. Just saying, I mean, there's a lot of issues.